So I got fired from Mama Loves You Bakery. This is the story. So what happened was, well, first of all, it wasn't as bad as they made it sound, okay? Well, maybe it was, but you have to understand my motives here. So it all started one Saturday morning, prime time for the gluten-free crowd. You know, the ones who come in wearing that look. The one that says, I'm here for something light. So this lady comes up to the counter, right? Probably mid-30s, wearing a yoga outfit. So pristine, you'd swear she was sponsored by Lululemon. She orders a gluten-free muffin and some kind of beet juice-infused kombucha we kept around just in case. And I don't know what came over me, but I felt this urge, this duty to reach out to reconnect her with the simple, wholesome joy of real, honest-to-goodness gluten. So while I'm packing up her muffin, I lean in a little closer, like close enough to count the little bits of almond pulp in her smoothie, and I say, are you sure about this? Because I've got this sourdough in the back that's like a slice of heaven with just the right level of chew and a crumb so tender it could bring a tear to your eye. We're talking crust with that perfect little caramelized crunch, just enough resistance when you bite into it, and it's still warm. Now, she's looking at me like I'm speaking in tongues, but I keep going, describing the whole bread experience. I tell her how I spent all night feeding the starter, which I named Stanley because, well, Stanley and I go way back, to give it that sour note. I even got into the hydration ratio, which was 75%, if you're interested. Just enough for an airy texture. She kept saying, no thanks. But I could see she was intrigued. I mean, who wouldn't be? This loaf was practically a work of art. Then the next day, this college kid comes in with a full-sleeve tattoo and a CrossFit t-shirt asking for a gluten-free scone. Now, this guy, he's got that look of someone who claims he can taste the difference between Himalayan pink salt and regular salt. He orders his scone, and I just can't help myself. I pull out a slice of focaccia. I'm talking rosemary, roasted garlic, and this dusting of sea salt that looks like a fine snowfall in the Swiss Alps. And as I hand him his scone, I casually say, ever tried focaccia? Warm, crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, with olive oil so fragrant you feel like you're in Tuscany, leaning over a balcony with a glass of red in your hand. Long story short, I may have started sneaking gluten samples into the bags of every gluten-free order. Just a little something to remind people of the good life. You know, my goal was simple, to reintroduce people to the ancient miracle of wheat. One lady left with a gluten-free lemon poppy muffin, and I tucked in a slice of sourdough on the side like it was some kind of sacred relic, wrapped up in parchment with a note that read, give this a chance. I thought it was, well, beautiful. But then the incident happened. This health blogger comes in, right? She orders gluten-free everything, muffin, cookie, bread. She's talking loudly about her followers, saying stuff like, I'm going to blow this place up on the gram, snapping selfies with the muffin like it's the star of a Hollywood film. And I think here's my chance to make a real difference. So I slip her a slice of the most perfect golden brown baguette I've ever laid eyes on. Seriously, this loaf had personality. It was chewy and airy with a crust that could knock on you like a door. She posted an entire blog entry the next day titled, Sourdough Sabotage. It turns out she ate the bread, felt the effects of gluten deep within her spirit, and then rallied her followers against us. Management brings me into the back room and says, we found sourdough crumbs in the gluten-free section. They made it sound like I was planting evidence or something. They said I was endangering the bakery's brand, that I'd undermined trust. Well, I was practically accused of being a gluten extremist. So yeah, they fired me. But I know one thing for sure. somewhere out there, there's a small army of gluten-free folks who've seen the light, who now know the joy of a perfect sourdough crust, the warmth of real bread, all thanks to a little sourdough sabotage. And to be honest, I'd do it all again.